Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy March. Brackets are set. Go find yourself a pen. Get ready to burn it in about 5 days from now. Exciting time. Michael, how we doing? How we feeling?
Good. We started recording and then you decided to leak your resume, so we had to re-record. We talked a little bit about the conference tournaments. IU beating Illinois, they had to have. That's the only reason why they're in. And Richmond, lo and behold, beats Dayton yesterday when Dayton was up 15 with 6 minutes left. Beats Dayton, then beats Davidson today, and actually basically knocks out Dayton 2 times because Dayton was listed as the first team out. And that means that even if Dayton would have just beat Richmond yesterday, they would have been in today. 100%. And even if Davidson would have beat Richmond today, Dayton still would have been in. But they didn't. Richmond's in. Davidson's in. The last four in the playing games. You got Notre Dame playing Rutgers, old Big East matchup, and then you got IU playing Wyoming. So
yeah, it's full disclaimer. I watched some of the bracketology show. I'm an IU fan. I went to the IU game on Saturday, lost in heartbreaking fashion to Iowa. I just had to watch, make sure IU got in. I was pretty confident they're going to get in. Glad they are. First time in 6 seasons that IU is going to be playing in March Madness. So very happy about that. It's been a long time coming. So in the same year, Mike Woodson head coach, first year, IU ends their 9-game losing streak against Purdue. They ended like a 8-game losing streak against Michigan and a 6-game losing streak against Illinois, or 4 games, something like that. So Mike Woodson, first year, not really having any of his own recruits yet. Great year. I don't want to.
Mike Woodson deserves all the credit in the world. 1, he made the tournament. 2, when he took the job, he essentially said that other than Trace Jackson Davis, no one has a scholarship going into summer camp. They do, but like he doesn't earn it. He owes no one anything. Other Trace Jackson Davis is the only player that he thinks actually deserves it. So right there, he's telling you that the roster is fucking terrible. And he's able to get this team to the tournament. He's able to beat Purdue in one of Purdue's best years, not just like a regular good Purdue team, one of Purdue's best years. Mike Woodson deserves great credit. He's recruiting well. Like IU, I think he's gonna do well for IU.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. There's always a big question mark when your team gets a new coach. I think there was a little less question mark about like his motives to want to be the coach, because it is a big destination for a lot of people in the college basketball coaching world. But he did play there from 76 to 80. So, I mean, he had plenty of reasons and plenty of heartstrings to the university. But anyway, I don't want to make this about IU. Very happy.
Let's get into it.
We're going to go through all the first round matchups, talk about some more than others. Some we're going to just blow right past. If we don't think anything interesting will happen.
2 things. 1, we have a bracket pool. If you want to get in, comment on here or DM us on Twitter. 2, subscribe if you're watching this and haven't subscribed, please. We're 15 subscribers away from 1,000. Boom. Let's move on.
Once we get to 1,000, we'll start doing some live streams during games, and you can talk to us and see some of our live reactions, which can be pretty hilarious sometimes.
Yes.
Also, the Twitter for that would be Victory Lap Media. So make sure you send it. Or you can comment on any of our tweets too. We'll get you set up. Are we doing it through ESPN?
Yep, ESPN.
So easy user face. Just let us know. What time is the first game on Thursday? It's like, is it 11 a.m.?
6 and Thursday is I think noon. I think the first game is either like 11:45 or like noon Eastern.
Okay, so
noon Eastern.
Make sure you save and submit your bracket before whatever time the first game on Thursday is.
Yeah, more than likely try to do it by Wednesday so you don't even forget. But yeah.
You can still change some of your picks after you submit it the first time, but you definitely want to have something submitted before. Anyway, moving on. So today, like I said, after we're going to go through all the round 1 games, talk about initial reactions to some of like those bubble teams that did get in. We were kind of talking about them already. I am going to share my screen, not show my resume this time. And yeah, let's get into it. So the West region, number 1 overall seeded Gonzaga, however you prefer to pronounce that, we'll be taking on Georgia State. I don't think I've ever taken a 16 seed. I mean, don't really need to talk about this one.
Yeah.
I do think, I know this is kind of weird, but I do think Gonzaga is better this year than they were last year. I've heard some people not agree with that statement. I think they're
very good. They're very good again this year. I did think Arizona deserved the number 1 overall seed. I think just from top to bottom, they had a way better resume. And, the Pac-12 did only get 3 teams in. West Coast Conference got 3 teams in, but Arizona, I think, had a way better resume. Their championship game is against UCLA, Gonzaga's against St. Mary's. But yeah, we don't really need to talk about the Gonzaga Georgia State game. Boise State Memphis, I think, is a very interesting matchup. You also have Boise State's an 8 seed, won the regular season Mountain West and the conference tournament Mountain West, and Colorado State got a 6 seed. So I don't really know how that makes much sense to me, but I like Memphis in that game.
I don't know jack shit about either of these teams. Being completely honest, this is one of those, these 8-9 games and 7-10 games, I will basically go off of Ken Palm, most likely for like 75 or 80% of those picks, unless I do know about stuff about some of the teams. So I'm not embarrassed to say, like, I didn't watch a single Memphis or Boise State game all year. But when I think of Memphis, I do think of like fast guards that just like can run through the paint in like the blink of an eye. I don't know why. Same thing with football. I think they have like the fastest receivers every year. Like when I think of Memphis, that's what I think of. All right, we got UConn taking on New Mexico State. Don't know shit about New Mexico State, but yeah, UConn from the beginning of the season through their conference tournament, they were an exciting team this year.
Yeah, they lost to Nova. Nova's obviously one of the Big East, very good. I think UConn's kind of playing well right now. I like UConn. I don't really know much about New Mexico State, but the 5-12 games are always kind of crazy. But the next game,
I think 3 12 seeds won last year.
Yeah, exactly. But Arkansas, Vermont, that's a very interesting game. Arkansas plays that like they're good, but Vermont's like its team of all seniors have won like 30 games this year, and it's like it seems like the worst team for Arkansas to face. I don't know. I would think Arkansas would win, but like Vermont, that's like one of those 4-13s that you could see Vermont winning.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of the other 13 versus 4, we got Akron. UCLA gets to play Akron as a 4 seed. Providence gets to play South Dakota State.
South Dakota State's very good
football school.
They're 30-3. They're very good.
I never didn't see any of those. And then Illinois gets to play Chattanooga. Very exciting. I mean, their buzzer beater was all over social media.
Chattanooga is very good. They have big men like Power 5 school. Like that's an interesting matchup too. I actually think a lot of the 4-13 matchups are tougher matchups for the 4 seeds than the 5-12 matchups.
Yeah.
Like I think if you're Arkansas, you'd rather play New Mexico State than Vermont.
Well, yeah, I'm going off what you're saying. I didn't watch either of those teams play this year, but yeah, I don't want to face a bunch of seniors in the first round of March Madness.
Who have won like 30 games. Yeah. Moving on, Alabama, Rutgers, Notre Dame. The fact that Notre Dame was a playing game to me was insane. Alabama's a 6 seed. They have 13 losses. I think that's absurd to me.
Yeah, I thought they were going to slip through 7. Rutgers, Big Ten basketball is something I am much more strong, have much stronger knowledge for. Rutgers, since like the middle of February, just electric. I mean, Rutgers has never been this fun to watch, probably in program history. Notre Dame is getting absolutely fucking shafted by having to play Rutgers.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but I like Notre Dame to beat Rutgers. I actually like,
You
and
do?
honestly, I do.
I like Rutgers.
Even if Rutgers wins, I think whoever wins the Notre Dame
Beats
Rutgers game
Alabama.
beats Alabama.
I
Yes,
think Rutgers has a slightly better chance to beat Alabama. I mean, Notre Dame's not a big sized team, and
but neither is Alabama. The teams that beat Alabama are teams that not slow it down, but can run an offense and shoot threes.
yeah, I mean, it is crazy how much like deep runs in March Madness comes down to like a team being able to shoot 40% from three like the entire tournament.
That or just matchups.
Yeah,
They can get the right matchups and get rolling.
So and we talked about this last year. The Big Ten again last year and this year had the most teams get into the tournament, but by the Sweet 16, I think there was only 2 Big Ten teams left. I think it was Purdue and it was just one. Was it?
It was Michigan.
Oh,
it was just Michigan last year.
Who did Purdue lose to?
They lost in the first round to North Texas or someone like that.
Yeah, North Texas, the fucking green team. I do.
Yeah.
I think I was getting it mixed up with Virginia.
So Big Ten choked last year, had more teams just for no reason. But this year they had the most teams again. I don't know. I think the Big Ten is better this year. Although I do think Purdue is the only team that can make an actual true run to the Final Four.
Right.
But Texas Tech, Montana State.
The point I was getting to is like the SEC looked very strong too this year, but I really don't know what to expect from them as a whole in like winning March Madness games. That's kind of the point I was making, because we're going to learn very quickly if the whole SEC was really solid or just like the Big Ten was last year. So we'll see.
For sure. I mean, the first 2 playing games are 2 Big Ten teams, so you will see. I agree. Texas Tech, Montana State. I think Texas Tech is a sleeping, very good team. I think that the Big 12 teams are able to beat them because they play them all the time. I think preparing for a team like Texas Tech, the way that they play defense and do the switching zones and all the different stuff that they do, I think is so hard to prepare for them. So I love Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech can make a run. Montana State, I think it's just a tough matchup for Montana State. Michigan State Davidson is a very interesting matchup. Okay.
I did not watch a single Davidson game this year.
So Davidson is a very unathletic team, but they can shoot the lights out. They make their free throws and they don't make many mistakes. Michigan State also isn't like a super duper like turn you over type of team, which benefits Davidson, right? Davidson's starting point guard, Foster Lawyer, transferred this past year from Michigan State to Davidson. So that's a little chip on his shoulder to play well in this game. I do think ultimately Davidson has to hit 12 3-pointers to win this game. I think Michigan State, the little run that they had in the Big Ten tourney might help them play a little better.
Yeah.
This is a tough one for me. I don't know who, I could see either team winning.
Michigan State had a fairly ugly last month of basketball. They got smoked by Michigan. I think that kind of took the wheels off of their regular season for the most part. They just didn't really look, but in December and most of January, Michigan State looked like they were had a chance to win the Big Ten this year for absolutely no reason. I think the only reason I would say Michigan State is just because of pure experience. Michigan State, I can't even remember the last time they didn't make March Madness. Izzo is just an insanely good college basketball coach.
But that'll be a very fun game. Davidson has a very good coach. They have a lot of older guys that have won a lot of games. It will be an interesting game. I think if Michigan State plays how they did in December, they win. I think if they play against how they did in Michigan, I do think Davidson will win that game.
Yeah.
Duke, Cal State, Fullerton, not much to really say.
Nope.
Other than I think it's kind of wild how the committee like really took Duke as a 2 seed, but then the rest of the ACC they thought were shit. It's like that doesn't really make any sense because ACC teams beat them. It wasn't like Duke ran over everyone, right? Like they locked up the number 1 overall seed in the ACC tournament like the week before the season ended. That's not like running over the conference.
They didn't even
like
celebrate winning the regular season championship.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So like I don't it's either one or the other. The ACC sucks, which I'm fine with, but that means Duke's a 3 or 4 seed, or the ACC isn't as bad as people think. That means Duke could be a 2 seed. But yeah, not much to say on that game. Duke 2 probably moves on.
All right, into the East region.
The 4th number 1 seed, Baylor, Norfolk State. Not much we really need to say. Baylor wins, Baylor, I do think would be a very, very good pick to win it all if they were fully healthy, but they are not, and they won't be fully healthy for the tournament. They had guys that are out for the season, but I think they would be
like right at the beginning. Sorry to cut you off. Right at the beginning of the season, they had like 3 of their starters get COVID, and then it seemed like every other week or every couple weeks after that, like someone would get hurt, like whether it was season long or just like tweaked. Like they would be, I think, far and stand alone the best team in the tournament if they were.
I think they are like 12-0 when fully healthy this year. Like they have not lost a game. They were very good. They were winning on average like a 15 or more a game. Like they're very good. But like I said, they're not going to be healthy, so it doesn't really matter. But it's Norfolk State. They're obviously going to win. And then you have North Carolina versus Marquette.
Yep.
Marquette, I think Marquette's had a good year. I think North Carolina, I think this is a good matchup for them though. Marquette kind of plays up and down, which is what North Carolina wants. I think if North Carolina would play a team that slows it down and turns you over, that's when North Carolina runs into problems. But Marquette, I think, is a perfect example. I think North Carolina moves on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the other 8-9 matchups. Both these teams got fucking hosed with this matchup. I think both of these teams are arguably better than every other team that's in an 8-9 matchup. State, Creighton, up here you got Seton Hall. Seton Hall is very electric, but
but Seton Hall's been horrible lately.
Right. I believe that North Carolina and Marquette are both better than all the other 8-9 seeds.
For sure.
But the good thing is, if you're going to play Baylor in the round of 32, this is that matchup that you want. Like, yes, you might be tired, only getting 1 day of rest, but this is going to be an intense game. This could fire up your locker room. This could get the wheels rolling for a Cinderella run. Just last year, we had UCLA come out of a fucking 12 seed or 11 seed. What were they?
Yeah, they were 12 or 11.
Yeah, they went to the Final Four. So,
I think it's one of those. If the team, like, I honestly think whoever wins is going to like be hot. Like they're going to be playing well. It's going to be like one of those where like they hit clutch shots and stuff, and that's always a great thing in a tournament because that gives a team confidence to move on. So I think North Carolina wins, but like that's a toss-up game.
I will probably take Marquette in like one of my brackets, but every year I do 4 or 5. And I will probably have Baylor lose in the round of 32 at least once. Now, just because we're talking about it. But anyway, we got my team. Hopefully, we have my team in this matchup. IU is going to be playing in Dayton in a playing game against Wyoming. Wyoming was officially the last team in.
So here's my thoughts on this though. IU plays Wyoming, obviously, like you said. I think IU beats Wyoming. And if IU beats Wyoming, I think they beat St. Mary's. I think the way St. Mary's, I think they match up very well with St. Mary's. Now, if you were to lose to Wyoming, I think St. Mary's then beats Wyoming.
I agree 100%. I'm right there with you. Just for my own sanity and well graces, I will put Wyoming Indiana matchup in the round of 32 there.
And then UCLA Akron. Akron beat Kent State basically because Kent State had 4 players suspended for the MAC championship in the first half. I know first half only, but it's basketball. The Akron got out. They were up 10 at half. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I don't think Akron's that good. I would go with UCLA. I think UCLA, like they lost to Arizona, they were beating them at halftime. They were playing really well. I think UCLA is playing good basketball.
I have watched plenty of Pac-12 basketball this year. I think I bet on UCLA like 3 times this year, and every single time they lost. So,
Well, they've been dealing with COVID and injuries like a lot. They're
but
finally healthy.
it was. I think each time I watched UCLA, it was a different month of the season. They just didn't really impress me all that much.
But the first month of the season, I think they played like 6 games. They were 6-0 to start the season.
That tournament.
After that, they haven't had a full team for more than 4 games straight.
Are they healthy now?
They are healthy now. The Pac-12 tournament, everyone was playing, everyone was healthy, and now that like people don't really get tested for COVID in the tournaments and stuff, like they won't have people sit out for COVID. And Johnny Juzang, who was banged up for the last part of the season, says he's now back. There's like a few guys who were banged up in the middle of the season who are now getting back. So like they're finally now playing healthy basketball, which I think is a huge thing for them. And they look good in the Pac-12 tournament. I mean, they lost to Arizona, but Arizona on that night, the way that they were shooting the second half, would have beat probably anyone in the country.
Yeah, Arizona is insane. UCLA did as well as they could in the conference tournament.
But I think Akron's it's a good team to get confidence too. So,
just looking at the other 4 seeds, so Arkansas, Illinois, and
Providence.
Is Providence, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm not too upset with like the prospect of like UCLA could be our round of 32 matchup. Again, not trying to talk about Indiana too much, just kind of throwing that out there.
Texas Va-Tech. I think Texas's loss in the Big 12 championship was absolutely pathetic. Chris Beard, talk about an underachieving coach this year, absolutely has been pathetic.
Texas is a depressing team at many.
They're kind of like their football team, but just making the tournament.
Yeah.
But Va-Tech on a fucking roll. Now, but here's the question. A lot of times when these teams get on a roll for a conference championship, they go one of 2 ways. It carries over, or that week they can't hit anything the next game that they use play.
All their magic dunks.
Yes. So
already.
What is it? I still think Va-Tech wins this game. I think their coach is a very, very good basketball coach. And I think Texas, honestly, if they were playing someone else, it would be a different story. But I think Texas has like no confidence right now. So I would go with Va-Tech.
Yeah, I agree. I will give Texas this. I don't know where this game is being played at, but Texas fans do travel very well.
Not in basketball.
Still in basketball, like there's a decent amount of orange like in these neutral site games, but I'll be sure to check it out when we watch this game.
Yale.
I agree. I like Va-Tech.
Yale upset Princeton today. Good win for them.
I thought you were about to say Yale's going to upset Purdue.
No. They upset Princeton today to go to the tournament. Yale's got a nasty guard who hit a bunch of tough shots. Who like he could, if it's a close game, it's like that guy that you hate because he's going to hit a few tough shots. But I don't know. I think Purdue's just way too much. Purdue probably rolls in this game. Murray State, San Fran.
I'll just say fuck Purdue, but that's. They have a really good team. Jaden Ivey's a dog. I did my nice tweet thing about Jaden Ivey a few weeks ago. Said that
Jaden Ivey is a dog.
Purdue ever. So
that's why Murray State, San Fran. I think San Fran wins this game. Murray State is very good. I think San Fran's the type of team though that just is not a good matchup for them. I think this is solely on a matchup.
The one thing I will say is, regardless of the conference you play in, for the most part, like getting to 30 wins is nothing that should be shaded over. That's an amazing accomplishment.
100%.
They've obviously been able to stay healthy and have been consistent. I'm probably going to take Murray State in a lot of my brackets. I might take San Fran in one kind of deal because these 7-10 matchups are kind of fucked.
Yep.
But that's fair.
Kentucky, not really need to talk about that. Kentucky
nope, I don't think so either. Didn't even know St. Peter's was a university. All right.
Arizona, don't need to talk about them. I think they're going to win the national title, but they move on.
Yeah, no problem. Who is it? Wright and who's the other player?
Wright State and Bryant. Bryant's actually they'll beat Wright State, but yeah, okay. Seton Hall, TCU. I think this could be a very good game. I think TCU wins though, but this
TCU,
is a good matchup.
They beat like 2 top 15 teams in the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Seton Hall play a game since I did watch their conference like their quarterfinal or semifinal. I can't remember.
They haven't looked good since Bryce Aiken, their starting point guard and leading scorer, is out with the season with a concussion. Yes. They have not looked good since then.
Yes, I haven't watched Seton Hall play except for the conference tournament since December. And in December, they did look pretty good, but
they were really good. Yeah.
And now it's 3 months later. So
yeah,
I agree. TCU seemed to have the hot hand in this matchup for sure.
Houston, UAB. I love this matchup. This is going to be a great basketball game. UAB has Jelly Walker, absolute stud. He's a fucking
what's his name?
Beast. His name's like something Jelly Walker. You remember the Jelly fam? You remember the Jelly fam? Like all those kids do those layups and yell out Jelly. He was part of that.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, you haven't? It was like a big thing like 5 years ago. And then every kid ended up like sucking in college that was part of the Jelly fam. But like him and the point guard for Alabama are like the last 2 of the Jelly fam. And he is the only reason why they're in the tournament. They won a triple overtime game against Mid-Tennessee State. He had like 36. He is disgusting. He is so good at basketball. It's a tough matchup for them, but I think it's going to be a really good game. I could see UAB winning. I could see Houston winning. I don't know. This is like one of those 5-12 matchups that you look at and you're like, yeah, UAB is winning this game.
Yeah, I watched maybe 2 or 3 Houston games this year, but again, Houston seems pretty solid at the 3-point line. Pretty quick.
They're good, yeah. They're a good basketball team.
They were definitely better last year, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know shit about UAB, but I'm gonna watch every game, so we'll see what we get.
Illinois, Chattanooga. Chattanooga's an interesting matchup. I don't know. This is like one of those. I don't know. I think Brad Underwood's going to give like everything he has to coach in this game because of how poorly they performed last year in the tournament. Yeah, being one of the 1 seed. That right there. Interesting fact though, Curbelo, their point guard that everyone either loves or hates. I can't stand the guy. Illinois is 0-8 in games he plays more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if he plays less than 20 minutes, they will easily beat Chattanooga.
That's a crazy stat. Like, how as a coach can you?
I've been watching so much basketball this past week. I've been watching so much basketball this week. And you know how many times I look at a box score and one player played 32 minutes, and in those 32 minutes, they were a minus 12, and the team would lose by like 1 point. And I'm like, how do you not look at this and see that whenever he is in the game, okay, he might be scoring whatever, but he's negatively impacting this fucking basketball game.
His defense is absolutely atrocious.
And everything he's doing is atrocious, essentially. But yeah, I don't know. So I will say Illinois right now. That's one of those I could change. I might change my mind 100 different times.
I think losing to Indiana was really good for Illinois. Actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Kofi's a fucking dog. Arguably probably right next to Jaden Ivey. I know it's hard to compare them because of the difference of their positions, but I think those are the 2 best players in the Big Ten. I think Illinois rolls. I don't think this is very close at all.
Okay, Colorado State, Michigan fucking sneaking in with that.
Michigan get 11.
14 fucking losses, not even playing in a playing game. Absolutely
14.
Absolutely disgusting. Colorado State, though, what sucks for Colorado State, right? They get rewarded with the 6th seed. Oh, but you know what? You have to travel to fucking Indianapolis and play Michigan in Indianapolis. Insane.
I mean,
I love Colorado State here, though.
Are you think you'll take them on like 1 or 2 brackets there?
Yeah, I'd take Colorado State.
I didn't watch any Colorado State this year.
They have a guy named David Roddy. He's a G.
That game, I obviously watched the IU Michigan game second round technically of the Big Ten tournament. Outside of their collapse in the last 12 minutes, they were basically I don't want to say unguardable, but their transition is so strong. Like when they're coming up and transitioning from defense to offense, it is so crazy how well their players get in position and set up passes. They pass very, very well. I like Michigan. I think the Juwan Howard stuff is going to come through to fruition, and they're just going to – I think they're going to go on a run, to be completely honest. Michigan always kind of lights up this time of year.
Tennessee Longwood. I don't know. I think Tennessee should have been a 2 seed. Insane that they're not a 2 seed. I think they have the most quad 1 wins in the country, which is absurd that they won the SEC championship and they were a 2 seed in what arguably the best conference in basketball.
Yeah.
So I think Tennessee rolls. I think they're playing good basketball. I don't think much to say about that other than Tennessee rolls.
They could have gotten the 2 seed over Duke, for sure.
Or Kentucky.
Longwood, their school's first trip to the dance in school history.
You know who Tennessee also beat? Arizona in the non-conference.
Right. I did forget about that. But that is, if you think about a team beating any of the 1 seeds for the most part, it's like, yeah, we should probably take them pretty seriously.
Okay, Ohio State Loyola. Ohio State has been playing some of the worst basketball.
So bad.
You have Loyola, who has a great coach and Denzel Valentine's brother, and Loyola wins. I like Ohio State. I think is overthinking. I think their player Chris Holtmann is such a bad coach. He's such a bad coach. Loyola wins.
Yeah, Ohio State had one of the worst losses in the tournament last year as a 2 seed. I'm trying to remember the name of the school that knocked them off.
Oral Roberts,
and it was 215, right?
215, yes, it was.
I did have that in one of my brackets I did last year, so I was very proud of that. That was kind of just like a big fuck you to OSU. But I agree. Loyola, pretty strong team again this year. They match up really well against Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State is structured very well for
right.
So I agree. And then
Villanova, Delaware, not much to say. Delaware, old Notre Dame coach, so congrats to him on making the tournament. But Nova is playing well, just won the Big East rolls.
Well, after going through each region,
wait, do we hit the Kansas region?
Oh my God, you're totally right. Holy shit.
So let's just run through this one real quick. Kansas obviously rolls. I like Creighton in that game, but I think it'll be a really good game. Iowa Richmond, I think Iowa kind of got fucked by winning the Big Ten championship and still being a 5 seed. And Richmond's a tough matchup for them. I would say Iowa wins though. I think they're just hitting their shots right now. Providence, South Dakota State. I think South Dakota State wins.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Providence, I watched them about 2 or 3 times this year.
They're a fraud.
I do think they're fraudulent. I don't think the Big East is very good again. And they got Villanova sitting waiting. Oh shit, that was the other region. But I mean, Villanova is a 2 seed, so I mean Villanova is much better. But
yeah,
I don't know.
LSU Iowa State. LSU just fired their coach. I think too much is going on. I like Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State has had quite the roller coaster of a season.
They have.
So good for them to kind of at least string along and make the tournament.
Wisconsin Colgate is like literally identical matchups. Colgate's a bunch of white guys who like try to shoot. Wisconsin's a bunch of white guys. So it's like not the team to beat Wisconsin.
It's whoever basically hits their shots kind of deal.
USC Miami. I think USC beats the shit out of Miami.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the Pac-12 is almost the exact opposite of the Big Ten the past couple of years going into the tournament. Like the Pac-12, like at face value and on paper, it doesn't come off very intimidating.
And then they win games.
The tournament happens and you get to the Sweet 16 and there's still like 4 Pac-12 teams and it's just crazy.
Right. Yeah, and then Auburn. Yeah, I don't have much to say. I think Auburn wins. I do think Auburn's probably the most fraudulent 2 seed though.
They looked insane through all of January and most of
Yeah.
February. The collapse that they've had these past 2 or 3 weeks has been very questionable.
They have horrible point guard play, and
I
that's
don't
what
know.
wins you games
Yeah,
in March.
I don't know if it's a coaching thing or if their offensive philosophy is just not what everyone wants to do, but it does not look good for how good their team has shown they could be. So overall, how would you rank these in terms of difficulty? Like if you were a team, which bracket would you want to be, or which region would you want to be in?
Okay, the most difficult region by far is Baylor's region because you have Kentucky as the 2 seed, which I think Kentucky can win it all. And then you have Purdue as the 3 seed and UCLA as a 4 seed. That right there, and obviously you have Baylor as 1, but that right there, that's insane.
Yeah,
and then,
I totally agree.
And then you have which one? I think honestly, Arizona's might be the easiest. Who's their 2? No, never mind. Nova and Tennessee. No. Kansas has the easiest bracket.
Down here.
Yeah. Iowa as the 5, Providence as the 4, Wisconsin as the 3, and Auburn as the 2. Are you kidding me?
I mean, yeah, comparing it, the East is definitely the hardest. I totally agreed with you there. I think when you think about the easiest, I was siding with
the West.
Dude, like
but look at the South. It's Arizona, Nova, Tennessee.
So and then Illinois at 4 too.
Like Tennessee and Nova might be the best 2 seed. Tennessee is probably the best 3 seed.
I would probably say the West, just because
is the easiest, you said?
I think it's the easiest. Yeah. I mean,
here's my thing. I Texas Tech as a 3 is way better than Wisconsin, right?
Like, you think Texas Tech is better than Wisconsin?
I think if they had a neutral site game, Texas Tech would win by 5 points or more. Yes.
I think they're much wider range of skills. Yes.
Duke, Auburn, I think would be a toss-up, right? I think both teams could lose to some shitty team, and both teams maybe could make a Final Four run if they're hitting shots.
Yeah.
So that right there is a toss-up. Arkansas as the 4, I think Arkansas is a way better team than Providence.
100%.
So like that right there for me would make now UConn, Iowa. I think that's a toss-up. And then Alabama, who's the 6th seed in that one? LSU. I think Alabama's a better team just because LSU doesn't even have a fucking coach. So I think the Midwest is easiest, but I would say the West is definitely the 2nd easiest. The East is by far the hardest. I mean, Kentucky, Purdue, and
100%.
UCLA as your 2, 3, and 4.
That is a complete clusterfuck. Like, like the NCAA basically gave a middle finger to every single team that they put in this. And like the North Carolina Marquette, we were talking about how crazy good at least I think both of those teams, and that's the 8-9 matchup. Like, it is up and down, fucking terrifying. And
well, even like Texas at points of this season, like let's not forget Texas has beaten Tennessee. They've beaten teams, so like they're not like horrible. No. Then you throw in Tech might be the hottest team in the country right now.
And then they put a fucking 30-win Murray State as their
7 seed. Like that's easily the hardest.
I don't know like what kind of balancing act they use to kind of use a law of averages to try to make these as fair and balanced as possible. Like, yes, I understand that the number 1 seed will have the worst rated 2 seed in their region.
Right.
But like after that, like these are not even fucking regions. Like, this isn't close.
Yeah, but also Texas Tech, if they beat Kansas yesterday, you could argue
they're probably a 2 seed.
That's what I'm saying. And then you're putting them in the number 1 overall seed. Like that's insane to me.
That's true.
But
only other thing we're going to talk about is first thought, like first impression, Final Four, like just looking at the West. We'll each go region by region and give who we think.
I think Arizona comes out of the South.
Okay.
I think they avenge the Tennessee loss. I think Gonzaga comes out of the West. Hear me out. I think No, I think Gonzaga comes out of the West. Never mind. The East,
Yeah,
Kentucky.
that's a good pick.
The West, or no, the Midwest.
Right.
I want to say someone else, but like nobody other than Kansas I can trust in that bracket.
Yeah.
Now, the one team I will say in the East, I do think Purdue could beat Kentucky, but I also think if Baylor gets going and hits shots, they have such a good coach and they have beaten good teams, even banged up. They're probably going to be at the most healthy they have been all year without being completely healthy. So, like, if they can get rolling, like, yeah, I think they could win. But I would have to go with Kentucky. But you never know. Like, Purdue, Kentucky will be such a great 2-3 matchup.
If they both get there.
If they both get there, very true. I mean, shit, if Vatek fucking comes out firing, they just beat the brakes off of Duke. Like, I know people say Duke this, Duke that, but Duke's still a pretty good fucking basketball team. Let's not forget Duke beat Gonzaga earlier in the year, and they beat the brakes off of them. So, and that's a Duke team that was trying to avenge the North Carolina loss for ruining Coach K's night.
Yeah,
so
I think Kentucky has of any of the 2 seeds, I think US or Kentucky has the easiest road to the Sweet 16. I mean, Auburn.
Yeah. Oh, I think USC Auburn. That's such a hard matchup for Auburn, in my opinion.
Up here, Villanova's got to play Loyola or Ohio State, and then Duke has to play Michigan State probably.
And even if Davidson beats Michigan State, Davidson, I just know if they're playing Duke, they're going to hit like 18 threes. Even if, like, they might not win, but it's going to be one of those games where they just hit 18 threes.
Yeah, I think from what you said, it does sound like Davidson is more intimidating than Murray State or San Fran. So
yes.
For mine, I mean, obviously IU is going to win the East region, no problem, easy.
Yeah,
that'd be so crazy though. But
no, it'd be awful. But yeah,
it'd be great for basketball. Come on, bro.
No.
But East, I do like the Kentucky pick. Man, Jaden Ivey is so fucking good.
That's why Purdue can go to the Final Four, because they have a playmaker who can dribble the basketball, who can score at any point of the game. Like,
and honestly, the past week and a half, Purdue hasn't played their best basketball. And
they haven't.
And they're still winning or like right there in every game that they haven't played well. So I'm going to take Purdue to come out of the East. That's kind of pending on the health situation Baylor is going through. I think they're going to be hush about the status of everyone's health until maybe like the day of their first round game. Back up to the West. Oh my gosh. I almost want to say Duke just because they have looked so bad, and it would be such like
a Duke thing. Coach K's last year. No one's picking them because they've been playing so fucking poorly. Yeah. I've kind of thought that too. And I've kind of thought that, like, if they somehow can, like, because there's going to be so much pressure. They've been playing bad, and all the kids are going to be feeling the pressure. If they're able to just get to the Sweet 16 and look good in the Sweet 16 game, like, all that pressure will be lifted, and they still have like 3 first-round draft picks on their fucking basketball team. So it's like, then you throw that out the picture, and it's like, just win one game, and it's like, they could win it all.
Yeah. But I also, one of the bigger upsets, I'm kind of looking at the round of 32, obviously the past 15, 20 minutes. I think Uconn has a real chance to upset Gonzaga in the Sweet 16, just because they're like, the mismatch for them will be at the perimeter, on the perimeters, and if they're hot, like, they could run away with it.
Uconn has a very good coach too.
Yeah. So I'll go with Duke just because of the question mark on that Uconn matchup. I think Uconn is very good. Not like really, not like very, very good.
But they can get there.
They're definitely upset ready. But I'll say Duke. Fuck Duke, but I'll say Duke. All right, this South one is gonna be, this Sweet 16 is gonna be insane. Gosh, this one's also pretty solid. I think it's either good. I think whoever wins the Sweet 16 round on like the top half is who's going to win it. Tennessee is very good too. I'm not a buyer of Villanova. They are a solid team, but I'm
Who's your pick?
I don't know. It's fucking hard. I should have been
Well,
thinking
say
about
someone. Say someone.
Arizona's so good. I'll just say
I know.
I'll say Arizona.
Arizona's that one team that I've watched this year where I'm like, you know, everyone's gonna pick them, but they're that good that if they play their game, no one can beat them. I don't
they
think.
can do everything, like
Yeah.
anything they want to do, any play you
And
draw.
what's so crazy in college basketball, if you're able to do this, have actual bigs who can defend anyone. And they have two bigs who literally can switch to point guards and still play manageable defense.
Yes,
which is
having a team where you can set up plays where players can play at different positions like that gives you so much such an advantage, and
for sure.
It's really sneaky.
And they have a guy named Benedict Maturin or whatever, and he's the smoothest player in college basketball. Remember that. Smoothest player in college basketball. No one rushes him up. No one slows him down. No one does anything to him. He's the smoothest player in college basketball. Who do you have in this region then?
Man, dude.
Auburn, Kansas, Iowa.
Honestly, yeah, it's for me, it's between
Wisco.
Iowa or Kansas.
Okay, whoever wins that matchup, you think?
Yeah, I think Kansas size is enough though.
Kansas is good. Yeah. Kansas is good.
I'll say Kansas. But so my final four as of right now, only an hour after the brackets have come out or whatever, I have 2 1 seeds with Kansas and Arizona. And I have
Duke.
2 seed Duke and 3 seed Purdue.
Yep. All right. Well, that does it. Like I said, you're going to change them. We're doing a bracket challenge, so get in on that. Friday, if you're in the South Bend, Mishawaka area, we'll be watching all the games. Danny Boy is opening up for Victory Lap at noon. We'll be there watching all the basketball games. Come in, watch the games with us. We're all going to be gambling, watching the games, blah, blah, blah. Great atmosphere. Bring your brackets. It'll be a great atmosphere. So basically everyone who's going at noon, since they're opening up for us, will be people that we necessarily invited. So it'll be a bunch of gamblers and whatnot. It'll be a great atmosphere. And subscribe, please.
Yeah, be sure to follow us on Twitter because updates for that event and through March Madness, obviously we're going to tweet them out. So if you do want updates about that, about the watch party, whatever, make sure you follow us. Again, Victory Lab Media on Twitter. And check out our other pages too.
Yep.
Anything else, Michael?
Nope. That's all. March Madness is here. Greatest time of the year.
Oh yeah. Fill out those brackets. Have fun. Be safe. And thank God for college basketball.
For sure. All right. Peace.